Hey, it's Adrian, and today I have the Botslab 360 dashcam. Now, what makes this dashcam unique is that it has an AI chip on there that gives you access to driver assistant features such as pedestrian crossing, collision warning, lane deviation. On top of that, there's also a 4K recording camera in the front and a 1080p recording in the back, all recording in a 170 degrees field of view. And that very wide 170 degree field of view allowed me to capture a very near miss that was scary when a deer just darted across the road. Now, on top of that, we also have GPS route logging and support for up to a 256 micro SD card for any length of road trip. So let's take a closer look at just how well it performs, and we can see if this will be the next dash camera in your car. And a big thanks to Botslab for sending us out for review. The box has the Botslab 360 dash camera. We have an additional sticker pad, a really long cable, micro USB to Type A connector, and a wiring tool to wedge it, ESD stickers, the manual, a 64GB micro SD card, power adapter, and wiring for the rear camera. The Botslab 360 dash camera came well packaged and protected. Now it looks very premium and it feels very premium in the hand as well, coming in at around 158 grams or 0.3 pounds. Now at the very top we have that 4K lens, and it shows that it's an AI enhanced camera because we do have an NPU unit in here, and then we have the Botslab logo. I really like this kind of brass or gold color ring here, it really makes it pop. Now if we take a look at the mounting portion here, so we have an adhesive pad, and you could use these supplied ESD stickers for better adhesion. Now on the side of it, we have a micro USB connector to power the entire dash camera and a mini USB adapter to power the rear camera. And then we also have the micro USB card slot here. Now this is actually able to adjust. You can adjust the angle, so that's as much as you can go, and this is as much as you can go the other way, and you could see it hits on the body here, so you have some level of articulation. We have an LED indicator light on the other side, and then at the very bottom we have menu and button controls along with additional venting. And finally on the rear we have the Botslab logo again with the LCD screen. The rear camera unit has a green ring around it, which looks really nice, and then we also have a sticky pad which is adjustable. You can see you can angulate it, and then you could just rotate this knob to kind of tighten it in place. Now we also have a very long cable to run to the front of the car cabin so you can connect it to the dash camera, and this part here is actually detachable, and I guess this is, if this cable gets damaged, you could just order another one and then just connect it right back. So that's a pretty good design feature. Here's a quick look at some of the specs. Feel free to pause or jump ahead to the next section. I'm going to connect the dash camera to my phone, so I've ensured that the Bluetooth is turned on. So I'm going to click the middle button here to gain access to the settings. Tap on that again. It's on connect your phone, so I'll tap on that again. Go into Bluetooth pairing, and it says to open the Botslab app on the phone, which I have open already. So I'll click on add device, and it's found the dash camera.
Received Bluetooth data.
Let's take a look at the dash camera settings. So I'm going to tap into it on the Botslab app. And the really cool feature on here is this live broadcast. Let me boot into that. And basically whatever the dash camera lens is seeing or the screen on here, it's going to be a duplicate on the phone. So you can see this is what I'm taking a look at right now on my table. And the delay is not too bad here. I'm going to move my hand there. So I would say about a second or so of a delay, not too bad. It does mention the resolution is going to be a little bit reduced because it seems to be transferring this over Bluetooth connection. There's also a speedometer there, so that's going to be cool to see when you're driving. Now, what I'm thinking is that you can actually leave this running while you're driving. You can look at the much larger screen on your phone, which is going to be a brighter screen as well, instead of looking at it on the dash camera if you really wanted to. Now, we can take a screen recording. It's going to save it to the phone's photo album. We can also take a snapshot, and then we can switch between the front and the rear screen. So here is the rear camera. I'm just going to rotate it around, and I'm going to switch back to the front camera. A little bit of a delay there while it switches, but that works fairly seamlessly. That's really cool. Let's take a look at the full dashcam settings. So the recording resolution is either 4K at 25 frames per second, or we can go down to 1080p at 60 frames per second. I'm going to leave it on 4K since I want to experience 4K quality. We have the option to turn voice recordings on or off, but I'm just going to keep it on for now. And we could change the speed shown on video, so miles per hour or kilometers. I'll leave it on kilometers, and I'll leave the video logo on now. Speaker volume, you've been hearing the callouts or prompts. Right now it's set to medium. We can switch it to high, and if you have a noisy cabin in your car, you may want it on high. The time can be 12 or 24 hour, and then the screensaver page is going to be a clock instead of screen off. I'll leave it on the clock. The automatic screensaver can kick in after 60 seconds, or you can just disable it completely so that you're just always seeing the GPS screen, and I think that's what I'm gonna do. I kind of like seeing it while I'm driving. The sensitivity for the parking monitor. So this is if your car is parked and it gets hit, this is gonna turn on. So I'm gonna leave it the sensitivity to high. And automatic shutdown on idle, I'll leave it at 10 minutes, sure, why not. Sensitivity for emergency recording, I'm gonna leave that on high, and it is actually really sensitive. The dash camera slipped out of my hand and it kicked in, so that feature seems to be working really well. There's a fatigue reminder if you're taking, kind of long trips, and the time-lapse recording, we could set it from 8:16 to 24 hours. I'll leave it on 16. Sensitivity for lane deviation, we can go either medium, high, low, or it can be disabled, which is good if it becomes too annoying. And the distance warning sensitivity, so I think I'll leave it on medium and see how it reacts. Front car reminder, I'll leave that on, and this is if you're just starting the car, and I believe if there's an obstruction in front, it's gonna let you know. Pedestrian collision, I'll leave that on. The Wi-Fi password, I don't think I've set that yet. These are the languages available: English, Italian, Chinese, French, Spanish, etc. If I tap on video playback, I'm gonna wait for the app to connect to the camera.
Terminate recording.
Okay, and once you do that, it of course stops recording, which makes sense. Now, I haven't mounted this in my car, so you're just seeing kind of just test recordings, and this was with the protective sticker on. So we have the emergency video. This is where I kind of mishandled the dash camera and it kicked in emergency recording. So we have loop video, which is good. Rear emergency video. So again, I did also fumble with it on the rear camera. Rear view loop video. I mean, there's a lot of options on here. This is actually pretty neat. So the 360 dash camera is working as expected. I've dialed in all my settings. Next, I'm gonna just install it in the car, test it out, and let you know my thoughts. The 4K video quality on here is sharp enough to make out license plates during the day and at night. And you know those days when it's super sunny and your dash kind of just reflects on your windshield? Well, even in those situations, it's still clear enough to make out license plates. I've been using the dash cam in conditions such as sunny days, overcast days, rainy days, and it fared well in all of those conditions to make out license plates. And here's the video of that very near miss I had with a deer that just darted across the road. So on that day, I was going at a fairly decent speed, and I only noticed the deer as soon as it darted out of the tall grass. I didn't see it before. However, when reviewing the dashcam video, as soon as I got home, I could see it running from the right side of the car. Just on that day, there is no way I could have paid attention all the way that far, and that just shows how great having the 170-degree field of view is. So yeah, this would have already paid for itself if I got into that collision. Let's talk about footage from the rear dash cam. So this records in 1080p. Now, one thing you'll notice right away is that because I live in Canada, we have, kind of heating elements on the rear glass to kind of melt snow. So because of that, you're gonna see that very prominently in the video. The other thing is I have my rear glass tinted, and because that limits the amount of light that comes into the car, even on bright days, it's harder to make out license plates unless the car is fairly close up. So on very overcast days or when it's dark, it's much harder to make out license plate from the rear unless the car is very close up. So just keep that in mind. You can also quickly switch between seeing the front or rear dashcam video feed in a matter of clicks if you want to see what's going on behind you as well. Let's talk about the advanced driver assistance features. So the first is the pedestrian warning, and this will detect pedestrians crossing in front of your car up to 33 feet out, and that's if you're traveling at a speed of between 6 to 25 miles per hour. The next feature is the collision warning. So this will alert you if you're within 16 feet of a vehicle in front of you and you're going over 19 miles per hour. It'll just give you an audible alert that you're following too close. The next feature is lane departure or lane deviation. So if you take more than 2 seconds to switch your lane and you're going at a speed of above 37 miles per hour or 60 kilometers, it's going to let you know that you're deviating from the lane. The next feature is front car start. So if the car in front of you has moved up, 6.5 feet or more, or 2 meters, and your car is still stationary, it's going to tell you front car start to let you know, hey, it's time to start driving. And this can come in handy if you're one of those distracted drivers or you get kind of lost admiring other cars on the road, or looking at a squirrel. One thing to note is that once you park your car and turn it off, there's no built-in capacitor in the dash cam, so if you want to be able to record events that happen when the car is turned off, you'll have to buy the optional hardwire kit. You can also use the G sensor feature, and you can adjust the sensitivity. So if the dash cam detects that the car has experienced a kind of abrupt hit or shock, like say you hit a pothole or someone hits you, it's going to record about a minute of protected video that's not going to be overwritten. While the box came with a 64 gigabyte micro SD card, I inserted my own 256 gig card, and I was able to get between 28 to 29 hours of continuous recording. So even if you drove an entire day, you'll easily be covered. So the Botslab 360 dash camera is a fairly solid dash cam, especially with the advanced driver assistance features such as pedestrian warnings, collision warning, lane departure, and front car start. On top of that, the front camera records in 4K quality, and you also have a rear camera recording in case anyone rear ends you, and you have a very wide 170 degrees field of view. And when you pair it with a 256 micro SD card, you easily get over 24 hours of video recording from both the front and rear dash camera. So if you're interested in picking up the Botslab DashCam 360, I'm going to leave a coupon code down below that you could use on Amazon that's going to get you an additional 40% off during Amazon's Prime Days. If you enjoyed this video, please consider checking out some of my other tech reviews. I review a bunch of different tech products, so I'm sure you'll find something you like. And if I can ask a huge favor from you, if you did enjoy this video, please consider liking and subscribing. You have no idea how much it helps me out, and I truly appreciate your support. But thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one soon.